Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we have quite a treat. We're starting paper 30, Personalities of the Grand Universe. And I'm not even going to pretend that I can teach this paper like I have the others. So we're going to do something a little different than we have been doing. I have taught this in 2011, and I know from teaching it before, this is like an 8 or 9 week class at least. So that's not going to happen again. We're going to hit the highlights, and I'm going to show everyone where you can do advanced studies in this very easily. Okay. And I know this because we've done it before. So let's go over here to our main website. This is the Fifth Epical Revelation website. It's exactly like the Atlanta Urantia Study Group website. They're carbon copies. Okay, so you can find it on both of them. And what I want to point out on this is over on the left-hand side, if you can see my mouse highlighting these things, there are 2 links here that I want to point out. Actually 3. Let me get the last one here. If you hit this thing, it says absolute to Uversa. Does everyone see that on the screen? Yeah. That takes you to a page that is very handy because it has definitions from A to U of a lot of different things in the book, okay? And it helps explain what they are. So if you go through the book and you're wondering what something is, you can go back to this little page, absolute to Uversa, and it will tell you some of the definitions.
That's a good thing to print.
Yes,
is it printable?
It's printable. It is.
I'm going to print that because it's a lot better to have it handy as reference. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to show you 2 other things. Back in 2011, and Millie might remember this. She was with us back then, and Rodney I know was, and Diane definitely was. So I spent about 6 weeks before I taught this class working on these 2 papers, the Absolute Uversa Basic and the Absolute Uversa Register Basic, Uversa Register Advanced. And I'm going to click on the basic first, and I'm going to show you this. This is the Uversa Personality Register, which we're going to study in this paper. Okay, it's the second section. And what I want to show you, the reason I called this basic is I took this paper back in 2011 and I went through and highlighted some of the things right out of the paper. This is just a reproduction of what's in the paper. And if you click on these links, it will take you to references from either the index or one of the papers from either the foundation or the fellowship. I used all 3 when I made this. Okay, so if you click any of those links, that's where it'll take you. Other things in here are, if you go down underneath each section, there is a breakdown of most of these, and most of the references from the index are right here on this page. Okay, and you can click on these references and it will take you to either the index page or the page that it came from, one of the 2. But most of these pages that it came from were from the original Urantia Book Fellowship or the foundation version of the book back then. This is before I did our versions. Okay, so most of these links are to their old versions of the book, and some of them may be broken by now. I do not know. This was 11 years ago. Okay, but you can click on those and it'll take you right to the book where this reference is, or the index page, one of the 2. Okay, and this, the reason I call this the basic one is because this is a few of the links on each one of the subjects. And if you'll go down through here, you can see there's not a lot of links on each one of them. But I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to go back here to the Uversa Register Advanced. And you're going to find out there's some references I put at the top. I thanked Harry McMullen. I contacted him and asked him for permission to use his index. I also contacted Clyde Bedell and asked them for permission to use their references in the concordance. And there's a lot of references from both of these, but you will find out as you go down through this version of the same thing. It's the Uversa Personality Register. But when you get down, when you click any of these, it will take you to another place on the page, and it will show you every link to that particular subject. And I want to go down here to one of them, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When you hit Paradise Deities, look how many references there are. It's almost the entire page. You see that? And then it's the same for the Eternal Son. It's same for the Infinite Spirit. This is every single reference in the index for these particular subjects in the book. So every reference from the index is right here before you. And you can click on any of these and it will either take you to the index page or the page it came from. There's one that's the index page. You see that? All right. Now, why did I do this? Because I'm a nutcase, that's why. No, actually, I did this. So if you want to, you can spend 6 months studying the Uversa Personality Registry, okay? And you will learn every single thing that's in the book about every type of being that's in the book, okay? And the reason I know this because I've done it myself, okay? I did this before I started putting the versions of the book together, okay? Spent weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks putting all this together. So there's all the references to everything. Now, this is the paper we're studying tonight, going to start study tonight. The reason I wanted to show you this is because if I taught this like I did, like I put that together, it would take us till the end of the year just to get through it, right? And I'm not going to do that because I've already done it once. Yes, Jane.
Really, Roger, if ever in the future they make it a subject for universities,
yes,
that would be very valuable work.
It will be. It would be for anybody.
It is university level material.
Yes, yes, it's a reference guide. That's what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to find out when we study this paper the next couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, that there's 4 sections in this paper. And the reason I want to break this down before we get started is the first section. You'll notice it says the Paradise Classification of Living Beings. You see that? That's the first section. So this is how Paradise classifies all the beings of the universe in their registry, okay? So you're going to see the same people or same beings in each one of these sections in some cases, okay? So if we go down here to the second section, it says what? The Uversa Personality Registry, which is different than the Paradise Personality Registry.
Of course.
Of course. Okay, so the Uversa Personality Records Registry, they're talking about all beings having to do with the 7 super universes, okay? Which includes what? The Paradise beings also, okay? So that's why you'll see beings in both of these registries, okay? Both the Paradise and the Uversa, okay? But the reason the Uversa is listed different, this is all the beings that are listed according to the registry of Uversa and the Ancients of Days. Now, why did they do it this way? Let's go down to the bottom, okay? This is because the story itself, okay, in the very last paragraph, is told according to what? A mighty messenger from Uversa, okay? And they're talking about the seventh segment of the grand universe, which is Urvanton, and our local universe of Nebadon, right? Okay, so let's go back up to the third section here. I didn't skip over it, I did. The third section is different, isn't it? It talks about the courtesy colonies. And these are beings that are considered part of the registry also, but these are considered beings that are not part of the functioning of the seventh super universe per se. They are more like guests, okay? And we fall into these courtesy colonies ourselves at times as we're going through our paradise ascent, okay? So they are listed differently. And then of course, the fourth section is what? Us, right? Having to do with just us and how we progress, okay? So that's the breakdown of this whole paper, all right? Now, we're gonna fly through some of this stuff and you're gonna go, wait a minute, Roger, wait a minute, slow down, slow down, slow down. Because we're gonna hit some of these things and I'm gonna mention them, but I'm not gonna expand on them in great detail because like I said, it would take us months and months and months to do it all, right? Because basically what I would be doing is reteaching the entire book and all the personalities in the entire book, right? Makes sense?
Yes.
And we don't, that's why we're doing this. We don't want to have to do that. Okay, but other things that are germane to our study of the last two papers, we're on our last two papers in this first section, I'm going to go into detail on, okay? Sound like a plan?
Yes.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
And we'll try to stick to it. So if I overlabor something, y'all just stop me and say, you're beating it to death, Roger, we'll go on, okay?
I don't think so.
All right.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. All right. So personalities of the grand universe. And Diane's going to start out for us tonight.
The personalities and other than personal entities now functioning on Paradise and in the grand universe constitute a well-nigh limitless number of living beings. Even the number of major orders and types would stagger the human imagination, let alone the countless subtypes and variations. It is, however, desirable to present something of two basic classifications of living beings, a suggestion of the Paradise classification and an abbreviation of the Uversa personality register.
Roger, you're muted.
Sorry. Notice they said abbreviation of the personality register there. Okay, and that's what we're going to try to prevent. So this is all the Paradise personalities and all the personalities listed in Uversa. Now, the thing I want to point out in this is it says right here in the very start that the Paradise and the grand universe constitute a well-nigh what? Limitless number of living beings, right? So this isn't even a drop of how many there actually are. You see what I'm saying? There's so many beings, they could spend volumes and volumes, probably bigger than this book 20 times over, just explaining all the different types of beings there are, right? And so they don't want to do that. And they're going to tell us that in the next paragraph here. All right. So they're just giving us the basics for beings that we will interact with on our ascension plan. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one. Millie, would you take the next one, please?
Yes. It is not possible to formulate comprehensive and entirely consistent classifications of the personalities of the grand universe because all of the groups are not revealed. It would require numerous additional papers to cover the further revelation required to systematically classify all groups. such conceptual expansion would hardly be desirable, as it would deprive the thinking mortals of the next 1,000 years of that stimulus to create spectacular
Speculation.
which these partially revealed concepts suggest, supply. It is best that man not have an over revelation of stifled imagination.
Okay, so they don't want to overdo it, right? Just like I don't want to overdo it. All right, so we'll leave that as it is. So we know that there's just tons and tons of beings out there, and that they did not reveal to us. These are just the inkling of just some of them, right? So next we're going to start on the paradise classification of living beings. All right, Jane, would you take that one, please? The first paragraph there.
1. The paradise classification of living beings. Living beings are classified on paradise in accordance with inherent and attained relationship to the paradise deities. During the grand gatherings of the central and super universes, those present are often grouped in accordance with origin, those of triune origin or of trinity attainment, those of dual origin, and those of single origin. It is difficult to interpret the paradise classification of living beings to the mortal mind, but we are authorized to present the following.
Go ahead and take the first I, the very first one.
1. Triune origin beings. Beings created by all three paradise deities, either as such or as the Trinity, together with the trinitized core, which designation refers to all groups of trinitized beings revealed and unrevealed.
Okay, so they're going to break this down for us. In triune origin beings, this includes eventuated and created beings. Okay, remember, eventuated beings are brought into existence as needed by God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit, or their agents, and they're brought into being as they're needed. Created beings are like us. They're created from scratch by creator sons or other types of beings, or even the Trinity itself. Okay, so that's the two types of beings. Now, there are other breakdowns of this, and that is triune origin beings or dual origin beings. And what would be good examples of those? A triune origin being would any being that was created by three beings. Then that includes God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, or any one of those plus two other beings, which is there are quite a lot of beings that's that way, or any being that's created by a triunity or three beings coming together to create that type of being. Okay, it's not just God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit. Okay, so a triune origin being can be created by the Trinity. It can be created by one agent of one of the three of the Trinity, or agents for those beings getting together with multiple combinations of such, right? And we have seen those types of beings that we've been studying the first part of the book. All right. Then there's also not only that, but dual origin beings. What's a good example of a dual origin beings?
We are.
We are, right? We're created by a creator son and a creator mother spirit, right? So that makes us a dual origin being, even though we have a thought adjuster, which is provided by God the Father, right? And personality provided by God the Father, but our actual creation itself was due to a creator son and a creator mother spirit. So that makes us dual origin beings, right? There's also single origin beings, and we're going to talk about those when we get down to them a little bit more. I'm going to leave that one for a little bit later. Okay, so let's start out with the triune origin beings. Okay, and as Jane just told us, Beings created by, these are beings created by all three paradise deities, either as the Trinity or together with the Trinitized core, any type of Trinitized core coming together. And there's also tons of groups of Trinitized beings that are revealed and unrevealed. So this doesn't include them all, okay? So this is just the ones they told us about. So what's some examples of these? All right, let's start with A. Rodney, would you take the first three on A there?
Yes, A, the Supreme Spirits. Number 1, the 7 Master Spirits. 2, the 7 Supreme Executives. 3, the 7 Orders of Reflective Spirits.
Now, remember when we studied each one of these are the ones that are located on the 21 satellites that surround paradise, remember? Okay, so this is the supreme spirits, the master spirits, the executives, and the whole core of reflective spirits that makes reflectivity possible, all right? And then there's another, the stationary sons of the Trinity. And Lech, would you read that list for us?
Okay. B, the stationary sons of the Trinity. 1, Trinitized secrets of supremacy. Number 2, elements of days. 3,
Eternals of days.
eternals of days, sorry.
Right.
3, ancients of days. 4, perfection of days. 5, recent of days. 6, unions of days. 7, faithfuls of days. 8, perfecters of wisdom. 9, divine counselors. 10, universal censors.
Now, if y'all remember, the first 7 of those are the heads, the paradise representation on the different levels, starting with paradise, Havona, right? And then the 7 super universes, and then the constellations, or the local universes, the constellations, and the individual systems, right? And the last 3, the perfecters of wisdom, divine counsels, and universal censors, remember, are the judges or the traveling courts of the system. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's that. And those are all listed under the stationary sons of the Trinity. And these are beings that are normally created by the Trinity themselves, right? All right. Then we have the Trinity origin and Trinitized beings. And that, now we're back to Diane again.
Trinity origin. C. Trinity origin and Trinitized beings. 1. Trinity teacher sons. 2. Inspired Trinity spirits. 3. Havona natives. 4. Paradise citizens. 5. Unrevealed Trinity origin beings. 6. Unrevealed deity Trinitized beings. 7. Trinitized sons of attainment. 8. Trinitized sons of selection. 9. Trinitized sons of perfection. 10. Creature Trinitized sons.
Okay, notice here we have a mixture of not only Trinity origin beings, but we also have the Trinitized beings, right? And that includes us, right? Which would include the creature Trinitized sons. Okay, so we're part of that group also. Follow me? Didn't lose anybody, did I?
Not all of us, though.
Not all of us, just some of us.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And then we have the beings that are definitely created by the Trinity, like the Trinity teacher sons and inspired Trinity spirits. But you also have the Havona natives and the paradise citizens who are direct creations of the Trinity themselves, right? In paradise, in Havona. All right. And then we have a whole group of unrevealed to us. And then the rest of them are attainment, selection, or those who have reached perfection. Okay. And that's our Trinity origin beings, or our triune origin beings. Okay, so now we're going to move on to dual origin beings. Okay, and Millie, would you take that first sentence? Actually, Millie, would you take the first sentence in the list? Let me move down a little bit more. Can
Okay,
you see all that?
yes.
Now just take the first, can you see the first sentence in the list? All the
I
list?
can, I'm looking at my book.
Oh, okay. We'll take all
I have
12 of them. Then.
Okay.
Okay.
Dual origin beings, those of origin in any two of the paradise deities, or otherwise created by any two beings of direct or indirect descent from the paradise deities. Okay, we'll start with A, descending orders. Number one is creator sons. Number two, magisterial sons. Number three is the bright and morning stars. Number four is the Father Melchizedek's. Five is the Melchizedek's. Six is the Verondadeks. Seven is the Lenonadeks. Did I get all the syllables in there? Lenonadeks.
Lenonandex. You did good. Yep.
8 is the brilliant evening stars. 9 is the archangels. 10, the life carriers. 11, the unrevealed universe aids. 12, the unrevealed sons of God. And that's, you want me to go on to B?
No, just stop there at A. Okay, so yeah, that's good. These are the beings that are created by two paradise deities or any two beings that were created directly or indirectly by the paradise deities. Okay, so that includes all the creator sons, magisterial sons. Okay, all right, they go through the descending order first. Okay, and these are, let me explain what descending order means so that makes sense. The descending order are sons that were created to come down and help mortals, okay? Or create local universes and then help those beings to get on the ascension plan, right? So these are all sons that start at the top and descend down to us, okay? Ascending orders go just the opposite direction. We start at the bottom and we work our way up, right? That's us. Okay, so notice under descending orders, creator sons are classified first, right? Technically, on that very first one, creator sons should be listed with whom? Local universe mother spirit.
Mother spirit.
Right?
Mhm.
Because really that's the other half of the creator sons, right? All the rest of that group underneath them are descendants of whom?
The infinite spirit.
No, the creator son and the local universe mother spirit.
All of them.
All of them.
Okay.
Everyone past number one under creator sons is created by the creator son and the local universe mother spirit or some combination thereof. Okay. Yeah, it would probably make it make more sense. There's also
It wasn't Christ Michael as a creator son.
yes, he's a creator son, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Now,
Michael and the creator mother had to create all these other things underneath
they
to
did.
run this planet.
That's right. That's correct. Now,
Organize and make this planet go.
right. Now, I want to point something out here, very important. The number 10, life carriers. In order to have a life carrier, you also have to have what? An Ancient of Days.
What?
An Ancient of Days. The Ancients of Days are involved in creating life carriers. No life is created on any planet without the involvement of the Ancients of Days. Okay? So I want to bring that up. That's why it says, those of origin in any two paradise deities, that includes the God the Father, God the Son, or otherwise created by any two beings of direct or indirect descent from the paradise deities. Who is from a direct descent from paradise deities? Michael
Ancient.
is,
Yeah.
the local universe mother spirit, and also the ancients of days. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, let's go down a little bit further. You remember that the magisterial sons are what? Are part of the sons of God, right? Regular sons of God, right? Danels. Are they the Avonals? I keep getting that mixed up. Anyway, but the rest of them down from that are all created by Michael and the local universe mother spirit, or some combination thereof. All right, and that includes the bright morning stars, which is the very first creature that's created by Michael and the local universe mother spirit. Father Melchizedek, which is involved in creating the whole host of Melchizedeks underneath him, right? So Father Melchizedek's involved in the creation with Michael and the local universe mother spirit of the whole host of the Melchizedeks.
I have a question.
Yeah. Turn your mic on so everybody can hear you.
Okay. This is something that is always, I feel, has needed to be discussed, and it isn't, as far as I know. But how do they create? How do they come together as entities? Do they have like formulas that they create from something?
Yeah, let me explain that
Okay.
so that everybody's clear as a bell on this. This is not a sexual union.
Right. But what is it?
It's a spiritual union of two beings.
But how do you come together?
I have no idea. I don't. It's the coming together of two beings spiritually. From that coming together creates another being. Much like, remember in Dalmatia, when the Calagasta 100 came together with other Calagasta 100 beings, they created the Midwayers. They didn't know they were going to do this. It was an accident. See, people don't know that. The coming together of the Calagasta couples 100 created the primary Midwayers, and they appeared from the spiritual union of these two beings that they did not even know this was going to happen.
So it's
It was a non-sexual union.
But it's a spiritual oneness.
It's a spiritual oneness.
But-
Right. Yeah, Jane.
I would imagine that there would be various degrees of, although we say spiritual union, would it
I lost you there, Jane. You still there?
You're frozen.
You're frozen. Hang on, she's coming back here.
I have a question.
There she is.
did
All
that
right.
happen to me?
Yeah. You just your question just went out the window.
I was completely cut off. It went
Yeah.
black, the screen, and it signed me back on
Yeah?
automatically.
Okay.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
All I was going to say is, for the creator son and the mother spirit, it would not be the same spiritual union as it would be for Galagaja and who was the other being?
The 100, the Calagasta
And the
100. No,
100. Yeah,
no,
it
that
would be
that would be
different.
totally different. Totally
But-
different.
Yeah, could it, the higher up you go into the spiritual realm, could it be like the father, where his volition, he had the volition and
The will to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe coming down, could it be possible that it would become, because only the father, the volition belongs to the father. Would
right?
it
Well,
be
and the Son and Jesus and or Michael also
they have the volition, but in accordance, all everything with the Father.
with
So
the
could
Father.
it, with the volition, it could have happened with just the volition.
It's more than that, Jane. The volition of the Son. Anything that the Son wills to be, to start, to be into being, and the Father agrees with, automatically comes to pass. And how does it come to pass? This is what, remember all these mechanical physical controllers, controllers of matter, controllers of atom, controllers of circuits, all these things we just studied, that's how it happens, okay? What the Father and the Son will into existence automatically happens.
Mhm.
So their volition, what you just said, causes these things to appear. Now, that's the same way with the volition of the Creator Son and the volition of the local universe Mother Spirit. Now, how do they do this? They do it through their certified agents to do this. For instance, in the case of human beings, now this is not the case in the Melchizedeks, the Verandadeks, the Londoneks, and that sort of thing. But the human beings are created through the volition, through the organization of material of the life carriers. But in order for the life carriers to do their work, the spark of life has to come from the local universe Mother Spirit and the infinite spirit, plus an ancient of day. Okay? So that spark of life cannot start without the approval of the ancients of days and the spark of life from the infinite spirit through the local universe Mother Spirit, which means what? Which means artificial life will never be sanctioned beings unless approved by the ancients of days and the local universe Mother Spirit.
That
Makes
makes sense. It also brings in full circle. It makes sense that the ancients of days have to declare if a soul is lost forever.
That's right. That's right.
They're the giver, then
See
they're
the
the
circle?
end too.
See
Yeah.
the circle of life? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Letch, did you have something you wanted to add or?
Yeah,
question?
that's exactly. Jane said exactly what I was going to say. That answers my question.
Okay. It's the circle of life. Now you see why I get so upset when people say that we're at the place where we're going to start saying we're going to start something that sanctioned life. Poppycock. That's why I say that. Because I don't care if Google or whoever it is, all these people think they're so darn smart that they think they're going to start life. What they're doing is they're getting response and reactions from programming from a machine. It's not sanctioned life, and they keep wanting to try to call it that. And it's not. I'm sorry. It is not that. It's a lie. It's a lie. You think it's a lie? I think it's a lie. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Did I make myself clear?
Baloney.
Yeah, it's a baloney. Poppycock, right? As one of my old medical instructors used to say, liar.
Like trying to say a man can become pregnant.
Yes, that's right.
It's a lie.
Okay, so now I beat that one to death.
Had to ask that question. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So let's keep going on this. I hate to belabor these things, but it's important for y'all to understand all these things, right? So Father Melchizedek was involved with the creation of the Melchizedeks, the whole host of Melchizedeks. The local universe Mother Spirit and the Creator Sons created the Verandadeks, the Lenonandeks, plus all the Adam and Eves and all those underneath them. These are all descending sons, right? The Verandadeks are what? The constellation fathers. The Lenonandeks are the system sovereigns, right? Like Lucifer, Lanaforge, people like that. And they end up being the planetary princes like Caligastia, which they have free will so they can rebel. All right. The brilliant evening stars we know are the number one guardian angel, or not guardian angel, the head of the angels, right? Gabriel, right? And all the archangels are a subcategory underneath all the angels, but the archangels don't have to answer to the bright morning stars. They're a separate order of their own, but they're created by Michael's and the local universe mother spirits. And when the universe is created, the archangels that come to help out the Michaels are loaned to him till he creates his own. Okay?
Roger, I have a question.
Yeah,
Although it says bright and morning stars,
right.
Father Melchizedek's, there's only one Gabriel and
One father
Melchizedek per universe created.
per local universe created. That's correct.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And all those beings come from them. Okay, and underneath that are the life carriers, which who's involved with the life carriers? The Ancients of Days. Right? And they put the soup together that creates what eventually becomes us, right? There's also unrevealed universe aids and unrevealed sons of God that they have not told us about, right? All right. Stationary orders. Let's go on to the next one. Now, who just read? I don't even remember. You did. Yeah, Millie did. All right, Rodney, would you take the stationary order?
Of course. B, stationary orders. 1, the abandoners.
Abandoners, that's correct. Yeah.
Number 2, the
Cessation.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 3, the
Unification.
unification. Thank you.
Right.
Why don't you give me the difficult one?
Because you're
4,
my best buddy. That's why.
it's the sporangi.
Sporanja.
Okay. And number 5, unrevealed dual origin beings.
What was that last word? Beings? Is that what you said? Beings? I'm joking. I'm giving you a hard time, Randy.
Oh, good.
Okay. Okay, so these are the stationary orders of the sons of God. And the reason they're called stationary orders is because once they are created, they stay in the local universe or constellation or whatever, wherever they are, and they do not descend or ascend. They stay stationary. Okay?
So they're like a
Makes sense.
permanent fixture.
They're a permanent fixture in that local universe or that constellation or wherever they are. They're like support personnel, right? Okay, and then we have the ascending orders. And Letch, would you take the ascending orders?
Sure. 1, adjuster fused mortals. 2, sun fused mortals. 3, spirit fused mortals. 4, translated midwayers. 5, unrevealed ascenders.
So notice that the ascending order goes just the opposite direction. They start as on the lower end and we work our way up to paradise, right? That's why we're called ascending sons of God, right? All right, and this includes all of us, adjuster fuse, the sun fuse who have a sun fragment instead of a father fragment, the spirit fuse who have a spirit fragment instead of a father fragment. And then the translated midwayers can get adjusters just like we do, okay? And the unrevealed ascenders, I have no idea what they get, right?
Perhaps we'll meet them on the Mansion Worlds.
Perhaps we will. Now that was the list of all the dual origin beings, right?
Mhm.
Now we have single origin beings, right? Jane, would you take that first statement and the list underneath that?
3. Single origin beings. Those of origin in any one of the paradise deities or otherwise created by any one being of direct or indirect descent from the paradise deities. A. The supreme spirits. Gravity messengers, 1. 2. The 7 spirits of the Havona circuits. 3. The 12-fold adjutants of the Havona circuits. 4. The reflective image aids. 5. Universe mother spirits. 6. The 7-fold adjutant mind spirits. 7. Unrevealed deity origin beings.
Okay, so these are all beings that were created by a single deity, mostly the infinite spirit. Okay. From direct or indirect descent from the paradise deities. Now let's just go through these real quick. And we know that the supreme spirits themselves are all originate in the infinite spirit, right? So the gravity messengers are definitely the descendants of the infinite spirit, right? The 7 spirits of the Havona circuits, these are the spirits in charge of all 7 of the Havona circuits, right? The head of them, and they're from the infinite spirit also. The 12-fold adjutants of the Havona spirit. Remember, the adjutants, the 12-fold adjutants take the place of the 7 adjutants that we have when we start out on this planet, right? So when we get to the Havona, it's the 12 adjutants that replace the 7 adjutants of the mortal. Makes sense? And those 12 all come from the infinite spirit herself or himself, right? We remember that the reflective image aids come from the reflective spirits who are direct descendants of Majeston, right? And where did Majeston come from? The infinite spirit, right? Okay, the local universe mother spirits. We know that they're all descendants of the infinite spirit, right? Every single one of them, okay? The 7-fold adjutant mind spirits. These are the mind spirits that come from the local universe mother spirits, right? They originate from whom?
The infinite spirit.
That's right. And then we have the unrevealed deity origin beings. And what do we know about them?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? Nada. All right. So we won't have to discuss them very long, do we? All right. The ascending orders. Okay. Now we're still talking about single origin beings. Okay. All right. So let's go through that list. Diane, would you take the next one, please? Dear?
B, the ascending orders. 1, personalized adjusters. 2, ascending material sons. 3, evolutionary seraphim. 4, evolutionary cherubim. 5, unrevealed ascenders.
Okay, so why are these single origin beings? First, the personalized adjusters, they all come from the Father, right? They're personalized by God the Father. So their origin is single, right? Ascending material sons. The material sons are created by the Creator Son himself, right? Okay, so the ascending material sons are considered single origin beings. Now, side note on this is this: the material sons, when they ascend, they are given thought adjusters just exactly like we are. Okay.
And that would be the Adam and Eve's?
That would be the Adam and Eve's. That's
And the
correct.
infinite spirit created them,
No, the Creator Son created them.
the creator son.
Right. They're material beings that's created by the Creator Son himself. Make sense? All right. Evolutionary seraphim. Guess who creates them?
Mother spirit?
Spirit,
The mother spirit. That's right. Along with the evolutionary cherubim, right? They're all both created by the local universe mother spirit. See how much y'all are so smart. You don't need me.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right. C, the family of the infinite spirit. These are all single origin beings again. And let me see if we can get all these. We can't get all these on a screen.
So many
So,
of them.
has the honor of reading these?
Yeah, let's see who's up next. I think Millie is.
Oh, good.
Millie, you're up next, and you get this whole list. So we can't get them all on the screen anyway.
Of course,
So,
got the book, so
I am so lucky.
yes, you are.
You're very lucky.
The infinite spirit has a large family. This
He
is the
does. He
family of the infinite spirit. Number one, solitary messengers. Number two, universe circuit supervisors. Number three, census directors. Number four, personal aides of the infinite spirit. Number five, associate inspectors. Number six, assigned sentinels. Number seven, graduate guides. Number eight, Havana servitors. Number nine, universal conciliators. Number 10, Morantia companions. Number 11, Supernifem. Number 12, Seconifem. Number 13, Tertiafem. Number 14, Omniafem. 15 is Seraphim. 16, Cherubim and Seraphim. 17, unrevealed spirit origin beings. 18, the 7 supreme power directors. 19, the supreme power centers. 20, the master physical controllers. And 21 is the Morantia power supervisors.
Now, aren't y'all glad you? Aren't you
Hey,
glad
good.
you?
Really, that was very good.
You're great, Billy.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you hung around and listened to all the stuff on the power stuff that seemed like it wasn't going to be interesting at all, didn't it?
Yeah,
But it
It
fits
just
right
sounds,
in.
it sounds to me like there's a lot of what? Worry about somebody changing something. They have sentinels and guides and directors, like somebody's going to change something, so they have to come in and put in some, I don't know, sentinels. Don't
Well,
go here. Don't go
No,
there.
no. Well, that's not their job though, Millie. They're there to help us along and help us get it right. You know, to really to make our life more pleasant. More than
I'm glad
anything
to know
else.
they're there.
Yes.
I might not use them, but I'm glad they're there. They're my
You'll
parachute.
use them when you need them. Trust me. Okay. And so we know that all these Supernifem, Seconifem, Tushiafem, Omniafem, Seraphim, Cherubim, and Sanobim, boy, that's a lot of bims, aren't it? We know all of those are angels, right? Support angels that help us along, right? Every single one of them on different levels. Supernifem, Paradise, Seconifem, Havona, Tertian, Omniafem, Super Universe, Seraphim, Local Universe, and Cherubim and Sanobim, Local Universe, right? That go up with us through the Super Universe. And then they have a whole group of unrevealed beings that they don't tell us about, right? There's tons of those. All right. And then the 7 supreme power directors, centers, physical controllers, and Morantia power supervisors. We just learned about all that, right? So we know what they do. Okay, so these are all family of the infinite spirit that help us along, right? And they're single origin beings created by either the infinite spirit or his secondary, which would be the local universe mother spirit, right? All right.
Roger,
Yeah.
although us mortals are classified as worms of the dirt,
I wouldn't say that.
perfect, or there is a humongous administration for our benefit.
Always,
Absolutely.
yes, from the very beginning to the end, right? Till we get to God the Father. You know, think about it this way. Think of how many beings are there to support you on your way to paradise. It's almost without number. There's so many of them, right? You think you're ever going to be alone and confused and not knowing which way to go? I don't think so.
We're always
You know?
going to be moving.
We're always going to be moving, hopefully up, right? And we're out of time. So I'm surprised we got as far as we did, to be honest. This is paragraph 92 on this, right? Because they cut each one of these lines a paragraph. All right, so let's have a little prayer for the evening. And sweetie, would you close
Okay.
us in prayer?
Well, dearest Father, we're overwhelmed with information and we pray that we'll be able to understand, well, not understand, but to remember each one of these individuals, organizations, or parts that are created for our benefit. We are grateful for such kind and thoughtful organization and amazed. And it's an honor to be an ascending being. And we thank you for this information that comforts our soul, helps us to continue our journey. And we just feel so blessed and so grateful for this information that you have given to us to study, and of course with Roger's knowledge to help us to deepen that understanding. It is in your name, Jesus Christ, Michael of Nebadon, we pray and give thanks. Amen.
Amen.
Okay,
Thank
I wanted to
you.
remind everybody, y'all in Facebook and YouTube and
Nope.
everyone else, we will not. Oh, no, I'm not unmuted. I'm muted. I'm unmuted. That we will not be here Tuesday, right? I will not be here Tuesday because I have to be with my mother at the hospital. So, so I will be here next Thursday. So we'll have a week in between the meetings this time. I'll see y'all next Thursday instead of Tuesday. And next Thursday.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me confuse
Thank
her
you.
for a second. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you at home for listening. Please come see us again. Enjoy. We will see you next time. Yes. Stop live.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll all say